Good afternoon and welcome back to Nurses Speak. And I just want to jump right into today's video because it's going to be pretty short. I hope you all are enjoying this holiday season, by the way, whether you celebrate or not, or what you celebrate. That's not the issue. The issue is mainly okay, are you carving out time for your own self care, time with your family, time to enjoy your loved ones? Or you caught up in the hustle and bustle of shopping and, all that other stuff. Um, I would say make sure you have some time for yourself, make sure you have some time to rest, eat well, right? Don't overeat, but eat well. For those of you who may be in a place where it's really, really cold, I caution you, stay safe. If it's too dangerous to go to work, then don't go, because you're not doing yourself or anyone else any favors if you try to, venture out in a snowstorm and get stuck somewhere. Because chances are, depending on how bad the roads conditions are, you might not even get emergency assistance to help you before you freeze to death. So, especially those up in our northern, eastern areas, or even if you're, in the Midwestern areas that got hit pretty hard with some snow as well, and this blizzard-like conditions, you don't want to get caught out there, right? You're not doing yourself any justice. Um, you know, you're not going to be a hero. You're just going to be stuck, or worse yet, dead. So use wisdom under these circumstances. Those people who are already out working and they're already at work, chances are their institutions are going to be telling them they can't leave. So they're going to have to work with the staff that's already in there, because they're probably going to be stuck and not able to leave. So by the time they get things cleared up, those of you who can get to where you work will be providing some much needed relief, for those that are stuck there. Sad to say, but that's what happens in these inclement weather conditions. But nevertheless, I pray that you are all safe and well. And I want to talk about this article that was on Becker's Hospital Review today. And actually, a few days ago, this article came out about the members of the Maine State Nurses Association who were very disgruntled about the loss of their paid leave for bereavement, jury duty, and military service. This is what the article says. Maine Medical Center. So they're really, really angry at the medical center's president, because when their contract was negotiated and finalized in September of this year, apparently there was a sunsetting of these paid leave entitlements that they previously had. And so it looks like the union may have missed something in the fine print, perhaps. And, it's going to create some financial challenges for those nurses who have to be away for those reasons. So I might just put a link to the article in this video, because I also read something else about some nurses in Pennsylvania who recently got a contract approved with about 30%, salary, or a combination of salary and differential raises over 3 years, equaling 30 or more percent. So this is like for, shift differential, having a BSN, being in charge. Those typical things that hospitals tend to give a wage differential for. Perhaps longevity is involved as well. I don't know. The article didn't give too many details, but basically, the spokesperson, I believe, for that union felt it was a huge win for them to get the increase in their compensation. And that's really all the article focused on. But one of the things that I always like to know is, does these contracts with wage increases also include stipulations for nurse-patient ratios, and working conditions in terms of workplace safety, additional training, mental health resources, all of those other things that have become highlighted as a need within the healthcare industry for healthcare workers throughout the pandemic, right? Now, these things were needed before, but they became, as I said, highlighted and of greater importance over the past year and a half, 2 years, let's say, respectively. And so I'm just curious why the article didn't really delve more into the other benefits that were achieved with this contract renewal. But it would be great if some nurses who recently were in a situation where their employment contracts were renewed, through a unionized collective bargaining agreement with their facility, where it was very comprehensive in terms of not only compensation, monetary compensation, but other benefits as well, as I just stated a few. Because what is also very important is not always the take home pay, it's also everything else, right? Paid time off. What is your work environment like when you go there every day? Because if you're going to take home, like, I don't know, maybe $18 more in your paycheck after taxes, let's say roughly, because I don't think we're seeing significant amounts of money here, on an annual basis. And if it is, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. It could be significantly more than that. It could be $50 more per paycheck, $100 more per paycheck. I don't know, because the numbers are not out there, and everybody's salary is slightly different, geographically as well, right? What's happened in your work environment? Have there been any improvements in your working conditions? Are you able to get the time off easily when you request it? Have your paid time off increased? If you were able to get 3 weeks, can you now get 4? If you were able to get 4 weeks, can you now get 5? Or has your sick days increased, right? Because that's all part of your compensation. How much are you paying out in your benefits? Some institutions, employee contribution to healthcare, a comprehensive healthcare plan benefits is very high. And if you're the person who has to carry the benefits for your family, that may be a significant percentage of your pay when you have to have that deducted. So those are some of the things to think about. So it's not just, my salary is good, or I can work nights and I have my BSN, so I get a little extra for that. I get a little extra for being in charge. But the workplace is still toxic and unsafe, right? Or when you want time off, you can't get it. These are the things that we need to consider looking at the entire situation. So I just want to hear from some nurses out there who may have recently gotten a contract, you recently gotten a raise. Is it satisfactory? Have anything improved in your working conditions or your other areas of your benefits? Chime in. Feel free to put your comments in the comment area, and let's follow up on things like that. Because if you're not careful, these unions, let's face it, not for nothing, the union is a business as well, right? They have their own operating costs, and some are great and some are, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, kind of useless. Because as far as an individual is concerned, if you ever need a rep to defend you in some situation with your facility management, that may or may not work out in your favor, right? Because look at it this way. From my personal experience, I had in over 30 years of working as a nurse, I had one job that happened to be in a hospital that was a unionized position. I think one. And the one time I needed a union rep to support me in something that was going on, I could clearly see, well, first of all, she basically did nothing other than sat there while, someone from nursing management just basically read me the riot act over some nonsense. But she was pretty much useless. I'll just say that. She was pretty much useless. And I'll tell you why I think that is. The union reps work for the same institution that you work for. They may be a co-worker, they may be a nurse in another department, another division, or what have you. But they're employed by the same organization. And depending on their relationship with management, they don't want the heat, they don't want the smoke coming at them. So they're not going to do a whole lot. Like, they don't really have a vested interest in going all out for you to save your butt at the expense of their own, because they don't want the backlash coming at them. They don't want that management attention in a negative way. They want to be seen as the one that's gonna, pacify the nurse, smooth everything over, make sure the nurse get back to work and fall in line, and just, is an obedient little peon and do what you're told and don't make any waves, right? Don't stand up for yourself. Don't call out management on their intimidation tactics and their bullying tactics, because they have to work there too. And when they're looking for their raise or their promotion or, their advancement in the organization, they don't want their situation blocked. So they're not going to do a whole lot for you. I mean, let's just be real, right? I mean, if somebody's had a really outstanding union rep in a situation, I want to hear about that too, because that's probably a rare and bold individual who doesn't really care, who's like, no, we're not going for this, and we'll escalate it if we need to. It takes a very strong individual to really advocate for another nurse in a organization. And unfortunately, there's so much backbiting and backstabbing and bullying and microaggressions and discrimination and all kinds of foolishness that goes on among nurses in the first place, that it may be very difficult to even find someone who's going to strongly advocate for someone who's, on the receiving end of some really aggressive management, let's just say. So share your experience, right? Has it been good? Has it been bad? Has it been neutral? I don't know. But it would be nice to get some feedback from those of you who have been in that situation and perhaps, just want to share what it's been like. Again, don't have to name any names. It's fine. Suffice it to say that, it's happening everywhere. So, and if you work in a place without a union, is it better? Again, like I said, I had that one job with the union. Other places I work without a union. You know what? You fend for yourself. When you get to the point where you feel like enough is enough, you make your exit plan. That's it. Right? Personally, I'm not in fight mode. If I become dissatisfied enough, if I feel the environment is beginning to take a wear and tear on my mind or my body, I know what to do. The thing is, every person needs to know what's best for them to do. And that's essentially it. So, as I said, read the fine print on these new contracts. Look at what it is you're getting. Okay. If you're involved in the collective bargaining process, ask for some time to sit down and do a line by line review of what you're getting and make sure it's fully comprehensive, right? The union should even be having lawyers involved in looking over these contracts with them. Like, where is the legal review, right? Because if you're talking about a contract that's affecting so many people in such a significant way, there should be, many eyes looking at it. So if your union has to spend some dollars and I'm pretty sure you're collecting your dues, right, directly out of your paycheck, some of that should be really spent on the legal expenses of having these contracts reviewed and making sure that you have enough representation there to review it carefully, that everything that you want is covered and that you're not losing anything unless you choose to relinquish it. It's time that, nurses need to work together and understand the power in the numbers. Because it's not just the numbers, right? It's not about the numbers that give you the power. It's the knowledge and the action of the numbers. Because just the numbers alone isn't going to get you anything, right? Let's face it. If 500 or 5,000 nurses go on strike, they'll find some other nurses from somewhere to come in and cross the picket line and work. You've seen it many times. I've seen it. As the old saying goes, one monkey don't stop the show. They'll find a way to keep the doors open and keep work flowing, whether you're there or not, right? But at the end of the day, if you know it's a situation that's short term and you're going to go back into it, again, the contract needs to be clearly read, reviewed, and negotiated on so that you're not losing anything. And if it can't be, and if it gets to the situation where you, and I'm talking to you as an individual, because the you collectively is made up of individuals that have all different priorities, all different values, all different things of importance to them. So for me, it might be the money. For another person, it might be the benefits. For another person, it might be safety, workplace safety. For another person, it might be inclusion and equity, right? And diversity may be the important factor there. That the elimination of discrimination and bias amongst the staff may be of importance to somebody else. Maybe tuition reimbursement, continuing education. All these things fall under the gamut of what, could be and should be negotiated for so that everybody's needs gets met to some degree. And so these are important things to consider. And again, if you're working someplace and it's not to your liking, then if you don't see a change happening that you can live with, or should I say that you can work with, because depending on the hours you work, you basically spending about a third of your life there, then it's time to work on another strategy for yourself. And that's the reality of it. And we're going into 2023, and some things are going to have to be coming to an end so that some new beginnings can begin to take place. And only you can determine what will end and what will begin for you. So, thank you again for listening. It was great to spend a little time again chatting until next time, which will probably be the beginning of 2023. So I just want to end this video by saying thank you to those of you who subscribe to my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's been a pleasure to be here and serve you over this past year, and I look forward to continue many years ahead as we continue to grow and evolve together and allow our collective voice to be heard. This is Nurses Speak, the channel for nurses where no topic is off limits. So like, subscribe, and share. And remember, you matter. Just you, with nothing, no additives. Just you. You matter. Bye now.